We are again, and we're in number 4 today. It's me, Nigel T. Best. Number 4, let's have a look what we've got here. So, number 4, reset. Okay, we should be at a point where we can press reset. Now, I've done years of IT training, as you probably have as well, because that training has come from the person that said, have you tried turning it off and on again? And sometimes that works, doesn't it, for your training, for resetting. So we're talking here about your goals and how we've gone through, we've reflected, we've recognized, we've looked at our routine. And now we're thinking to ourselves, okay, is it time to reset things? Am I happy with what's going on? So you've done the first 3 stages. You're looking at it. You think, do you know what? I think it's time for a bit of a reset, because how many times, it's a funny thing. Sports people try to do the same thing every time so their performance stays at a peak. What do? We inadvertently do the same things all the time, every time. And what we're trying to do is change it and do something different. So I think it's weird that we have mastered. So if you've looked and you've looked at your routine, you've looked at what you've done, and you think, oh my goodness, I am doing the same thing every day. Maybe that's why I'm not getting the success I wanted. Maybe that's why I'm not getting the goals I wanted, because I do the same routines every day. You look at that. Oh my goodness, sports people are desperate to try and do the same things. They know what to do. They're trying to repeat that perfect thing. For us, maybe we just don't know quite what to do at the moment before we get into that routine side of things. So the reset. What are you going to reset? Everything? Are you going to change your name, start from scratch, go up? No, we're looking at resetting just a few things that could help you do it. Now, one of the things that a lot of people get to the point where they're thinking, okay, it's kind of this. What's your reason? And let me just shrink myself down a bit here so I can just move out of the way so you can see it. It comes down to, what are you going to reset? And ultimately, if you ask yourself the question why enough times, you come out with your reason. Now, I've spoken about this before. I think ultimately, if somebody says, oh, what are you trying to achieve with that goal? What's your goal for? What's the reason for it? People say, oh, to get money. Yeah, but why? Well, then I could pay the bills. Yeah, why? Well, then I could, relax a bit and do the things I want to do. Why? Well, I want to do more of this or that, or why? And if you get there, ultimately, ask why enough times. It's like being in a car on a 4-hour journey with a 4-year-old that just wants to ask why all the time. And are we there yet? But it's one of these things. It comes down to an emotion. And I think this is part of, when you're resetting, you've got to look for that emotion. That emotion, the reason behind all of this, the why, it's going to come down to a feeling. And when you start resetting, and when you start looking at tweaking things, and when you start looking at your goal and anchoring it, I'm going to be talking about anchor that goal to an emotion. It sounds a bit difficult, bit tricky, bit hard, not too sure. But here's the thing. When you were a kid, you could do it. You could do it so easily. And I'll tell you why, where, and when. When it came to your birthday or a Christmas or another festival, or, one of those things where you were in line for a present, what did you do there? You had an emotional attachment to a particular present, didn't you? What could it be? It could have been a doll. It could have been Lego. It could have been a computer game. It could have been a bicycle. It could have been anything. But you could picture yourself on it. If it was a bicycle, I remember as a kid, I wanted a BMX. They'd just come out, and it just looked so cool. And I could picture myself, there was a dirt strip, and I could picture myself digging in the dirt to make a ramp to do a jump on this bike that I didn't even have yet. And I could picture myself, in the air. I could feel it. And I could see this bike, this yellow and red Rally Burner BMX. I could see it. And it was all I could focus on. and my reason why I was, helping people and saying, oh, dropping hints and leaving pictures of it, I'd cut them out of magazines and leave them around, sort of thing, and talk about, wouldn't it be great if I could do this on a bicycle and stuff like that. And everything was focused on it, everything. And no one had taught me that. No one had taught you that when it comes down to that Cabbage Patch dolls. Do you remember those? It had to be those. And we've had loads of fads and crazes and things where it had to be. Why? Because, parents got obsessed on it. Because it was the emotion of seeing their child open the thing that they wanted was going to give them that joy, that moment, to remember. The punch up in the store to get the toy, less so. But it was those things, wasn't it? And it was that reason why. The reason why was just so emotional. And when you look back at the times when you've attached huge emotion to a goal, just have a moment. Just think, is that how, yeah, I think they were the ones that were more successful. Maybe they were. Maybe they weren't. Have a think back, go back if you need to do the first 3 steps again and just reflect and recognize and look at the routine and see what you did. See if there's any element of that in there. Because when we're talking about, what is your reason here, the thing that I want to do is I want you to say, okay, last year, couple of years, I had quite a lot of goals. Just ask yourself, when you went back and had a look at them, the ones that you were successful at, were they more, did you have a stronger emotional pull for it? Could you really see it? Could you really feel it, hear it, touch it, taste it, whatever it was? Were your senses involved in it? Were your emotions really quite powerful? And then have a look at the ones that you were less successful with. And I'm going to take a guess that for some of you out there, the ones that you were less successful with, they were quite cold. They were quite vague, maybe quite, I don't know, without feeling, without emotion. Yeah? If that's the case, then maybe that's one of the things that we need to do in terms of reset. We need to have a think about, okay, how do we reset the driving force behind our goals? And when it comes down to this, so when I'm talking about reset, I want you to think, okay, what's my reason why? And if you said something like, oh, I want $10,000, £10,000 a month, I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna say why. And I'm not there for you, so I can't be there in person to do it. But just play devil's advocate with yourself and just say why. And it'll come down to a very specific thing that'll give you a very specific emotion. And here's the thing. I think as you begin to think about it, you will begin to experience that emotion just thinking about achieving your goal. And if that's the case, you get that funny feeling, that tingle, that warm, fuzzy feeling, that sort of, tightening in the stomach, or that real sort of, you find yourself just smiling, smiling for no real reason, it would appear. I think that is where you have just found the emotional anchor that we are going to look at attaching to our goals going forward. So on the reset, I just want you to have a think about that. And I know for a lot of people here that I know in my world, and maybe it's you, it's all about getting extra properties. It's about property investing and doing things like that. If it's, it could be building your business online. You've got you can see the links up there. Yeah, wherever they are up at the top. If you want to find out more, go there. That would be great. Love to see you there, especially that yellow one up there. That is running out soon. Their special lifetime deal is running out in about a week. So you've not, oh my goodness. And that could save you $20,000 or $30,000 a year if you are taking your business online, building your brand online. If you're a digital course creator, something like that, that is, one of the best things that you can do, invest in. Super low price at the moment. Go check it out. You can get your free account, have a look at their lifetime deal. It goes away very, very soon. So if you use that link and you're watching this video at a later date, it might have gone. It might have gone. So don't delay. Go there straight away. Okay, so a lot of people, yeah, it's, you know, the reason why. And people say, I want property. I want to do this. I want to invest. I want to build a legacy. Build a legacy, you know, for my kids, grandkids, and all the rest of it. Yeah, I get that, the legacy. But it is quite hard to emotionally attach yourself to something that you know you're not going to be around to see and enjoy. So I would say, okay, yes, you can build a legacy, but how about you enjoy the journey as you go? And let's get the involvement now. So maybe reset, pull that forward and get the emotion now for you, as well as your kids or grandkids, wherever you are, or even if you haven't got kids yet, you know, enjoy this thing, get the emotion to it, because sometimes one of those longer term distant goals that he's really quite emotionally sort of devoid is hard to achieve. So I'm just saying, pull it forward, pull it into reality, pull it into an emotional situation for you, and let's see how it goes. So maybe that's the reset. Okay, so here we go. On here, time to reset. What have I said? Is it time to reset your goals? Are your goals, do you have too many? Do you have too few? Are they the right thing? Are they deep enough? Have a look at your routine and, you know, go back to that, reflect on what you recognized about you, and then look at changing things. Do you remember? Little by little. You don't have to do a lot. Little by little. Okay. And then I'm going to say, we're on a sort of boating theme, nautical theme, aren't we? With anchors and ships and all the rest of it. Well, one of the useful things is an oar. I know when people say you're up a certain creek, you need a paddle. Well, I couldn't make paddle work. Oar works though. And you're probably thinking, what is an oar? Okay, it's a long piece of wood with OAR stands for three things. This is where you reset and you take ownership. You take accountability and you take responsibility. So those three things are crucial to you being able to achieve your goal. They are crucial to you being able to get yourself out of that creek. You know, when you're up creek, you need your paddle. Well, grab your oar and do it. You'll find it very, very useful. When you sort of say, okay, do you remember when we were talking about, are you still in bed? Where you blame everything, you make excuses for everything, you deny there's even a problem for everything, you know, BED, you're in bed. This is where you need to grab your oar and take ownership, accountability, and responsibility. And as soon as you do that, as soon as you flip it from being powerless in bed to powerful with your oar, you will find things start moving your direction in the right way. But this other thing here, I want you to have done that exercise. When you're looking at the reset, think of the emotions. I want you to think of the emotions, okay? And really build your goal around an emotion. This is where the anchor comes in. Yeah, that's good. And and then the other thing is here, never ever forget that. Your goal is exactly that. It's yours. To hell with everyone else. It's yours. So make it very, very personal to you. Make it, you know, really sink in deep into your emotional sort of drive and motivation. Oh, here we go. It's good stuff. And then here's another thing, and I'm going to talk about this next week. Okay, we're going to jump into this. If you said to me, oh, I've got 15 goals, 20 goals, I've got 50 goals, I've got 1,000 goals, I'd say, okay, all right, let's just bring it back down a bit, because if you've got 1,000 emotional drivers in your life, you're going to be split in, you know, more ways than Voldemort in the Harry Potter movies. Okay, you've got to think to yourself, right, realistically, come on, how many have I got? If you've only got one, great, because all your focus is on that. But a lot of people tend to come up with a handful, so maybe 5 goals. Next week, I'm going to be telling you how you can prioritize them, and how that quick little prioritizing system can work for anything, any situation on any day. So you might say, okay, I've got 5 goals. This is my number 1 goal. Oh my goodness. You wake up on a Tuesday morning and you've got 5 things to do that day. I'll tell you how to even order those 5 things so that you're working for your goal on that particular Tuesday. So this is a super easy, really clever, very nifty little technique that'll help you. Doesn't matter where you are, what your situation is. If you need to prioritize a list of things as to what to do first, I'll tell you my which is it method next week. Until then, my friends, thank you very much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye for now.